Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder apostle, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp, here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. Now today I'll be coming out with the lesson. It's on this article right here. And of course, you know how Esau tries to spin the narrative and everything. But nonetheless, we do see and we are noticing, and they do report on it, that a lot of these other nations that were once looked at as weak are now strengthening themselves with new weapons, mainly of the nuclear devastation sort, but nonetheless new technologies and so forth and so forth. But as it says here, it says madness confirmed. North Korea unveils insane ICBM fleet ready to nuke DC now. And the truth of the matter is, these other nations, they are waiting to get their lick in when it come down to Big Satan or Babylon America. It is what it is. But I'm going to read a little bit of this article. I'm going to kind of skip through it a little bit to the main parts, you know. But it's these other nations that they're getting stronger, and the Lord is doing it. So without further ado, it says North Korea is intensifying its efforts to integrate nuclear weapons and conventional forces through a self-reliant nuclear conventional integrated power strategy aimed at entrenching Salaki and a non-denuclearization environment. So they all go and no stop. All go, no breaks. They're getting everything ready and everything prepared. It says this analysis is drawn from a report by Dr. Ban Gil-ju, an associate professor at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy's Institute for International Security and Unification Studies. That's a long name. You need to shorten that up. Dr. Ban asserts that Kim Jong-un regime is leveraging military parades not merely as displays of force, but as strategic tools for regime security and foreign policy. That makes sense. Because, you know, I try to unalive them and cause more of a problem, but let's continue. It says, during a recent on-site guidance at the Defense Science Institute, Kim announced plans to unveil a nuclear conventional force dual policy at the upcoming Ninth Party Congress early next year. The array of weapon systems showcased in the recent parade provides a glimpse into this evolving strategy. Yeah, I'm gonna skip past that a little bit. Here we go. It says the parade unveiled an arsenal of new strategic weapons, including the Hwasong-20 intercontinental ballistic missile, hypersonic medium-range strategic missiles, and the Hwasong-11 hypersonic short-range ballistic missiles, all purportedly capable of striking Babylon America. It says Dr. Ban, whatever. It says that North Korea is not only advancing its nuclear capabilities, but also showcasing a military roadmap that underlines its hyper strategy aimed at rendering denuclearization efforts futile. Because that's what Big Satan are trying to do, Babylon America. So the fact that Korea is ramping up and getting stronger in the nuclear department of their power, it is going to render any denuclearization efforts futile, as it says here. It's going to be non-existent. And on top of that, this is the Lord getting everything like this. These other nations, he getting all these other nations ready to use his weapons of indignation, which is the ICBMs. It's going to cause nuclear devastation, obliteration, and annihilation of Big Satan. It says he further argues that Pyongyang's actions are evolving from mere military posturing to a sophisticated diplomatic strategy designed to elevate its international status. Of course, as they're getting stronger. That's what the Lord said. Let's see. All right, we're just going to go. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So proclaim this among what? The Gentiles. The physical Gentiles. These heathens. Prepare war. These other nations are getting what? Prepared for war. Wake up the mighty men. Their armies. The generals, the sergeants, the soldiers, all the way down to the whatever it is and whatever that army is. Wake them up, the mighty men, the men of war. Let the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Get ready for war. Because it's time to go to war. A sound of battle is in the land. Thus saith Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. This is the climax. I was going to say end all be all, but not that, but the big boom that's gonna hit Big Satan, Babylon, America. That's gonna be the end all be all. But this is part of the climax, going into the resolution of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai's story, script, movie, and what the Lord said was gonna happen. So these other nations are getting prepared. They're preparing to make war. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. And Korea was once looked at as weak, where they have now beaten their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears, meaning they have become armed, as the saying goes, to the teeth. They now have power and strength. Thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Now they're saying they are strong because the Lord has made these nations strong. He's made Korea strong, just like he made China strong, just like he made Russia strong, just like he made Venezuela strong, and any other nation that has aligned itself with BRICS, he has made them strong. The Lord is preparing everything as he said he would do. We are looking at the third woe, staring it right in the face, and it's gonna happen. And once it really kick off, you know what? Real quick, let's go on and go there. Where we at? Let's go back. Maybe let's go back a few. Hold on. Where is it? Okay, I was right here the whole time. I'm right here looking for it. I was right here the whole time. Okay, again, this is back at Joel chapter 3. Verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. So the Lord is going to gather these other nations up together. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. In the valley of decision, that's the valley of Jehoshaphat. It's where the Lord is going to gather all these nations' armies and cause them to fight against one another and judge them there. And who's going to do the judging? Yahweh Shai, when he show up with the heavenly host, Salakia. 2nd Edges 13. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read the first part of it just real quick. Where we at? Here we go. And this is Edges that had that vision. It says this is at 2nd Edges 13. I'm just gonna go to the point. Verse 3. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things, Salakia, trembled that were seen under him. So the Lord gonna show up in a what? In a big giant chariot with the heavenly hosts. And of course, you know it's gonna be big. It's probably gonna be shaking the ground. And of course, it's gonna cause fear too. When the Lord, it's like when the Lord show up and these other nations are fighting over there, or not other nations, but these nations are fighting over there in the valley of Jehoshaphat, they're gonna be scared. And ultimately, verse 4, and ultimately the Lord is gonna destroy them. I just wanted to get that point real quick. But yeah, we're now seeing these nations saying they're strong. We're seeing these nations do military parades. That's a show of strength and a show of power. And the show of the level of danger that they pose and present to those who may pose and present a threat to them. So yeah, real quick. Okay, yeah, this is another article that I seen as well, and it says here, it says Trump confirms that he's authorized the CIA operations in Venezuela, looking into land strikes. It's I'm gonna read a little bit of this too. I ain't read all the way through this, but I did read most of it. But I'm gonna just kind of hit here and there on it. But let's continue. It says President Trump on Wednesday confirmed he has authorized the CIA or authorized CIA action in Venezuela. Who in the flying flip phone do you think you is to authorize something in another person's? Well, let's continue. Let's go on continue. But again, President Trump on Wednesday confirmed he had authorized CIA action in Venezuela and indicated his administration is exploring land strikes inside the South American country. Let me go here real quick before I continue. Do this real fast. This is Psalms 10, verse 5. It says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for as for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. So there you go. This devil's ways are always grievous, always detrimental, always causing a problem. But when it comes down to the judgments of the Heavenly Father, these things are far above out of this devil's sight. He doesn't see that the Lord is watching him and setting a trap, then set a trap for him, not setting, then set a trap for him, and he's going to fall in it. And again, as for this devil's enemies, what does he do? He always puff at them. He think ain't nothing finna happen. Hence him giving the okay to go into a country that he is not the ruler of. Let's continue. It says Trump said he could not give more information on the covert CIA operation. And says which were the first reported by the New York Times, but said he authorized them because of the flow of migrants and drugs from the country. Yeah, this is his statement. It says, I authorized for two reasons. Really, number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States. They came in through the border, of course. Trump said he took reporter questions in the Oval Office. There you go. It says in the blah blah blah. Let's continue. It says when asked whether the CIA was given the authority to take out Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, you see how this devil moved. Trump called it a ridiculous question for him to respond to because that's probably what they was gonna do. Exposed. This devil is exposed. And it says, but I think Venezuela is feeling heat. Venezuela is allied with Russia. Russia is the one that got Venezuela back on track. So Venezuela ain't nothing to play with. And also Venezuela have nuclear capabilities too. And they're as far as their nuclear arsenal go, It's intermediate range, so it's not full range. So they have to be launched from an apparatus and or a staging that vehicles and or armaments that's capable of launching. But let's continue. It says, but I think Venezuela is feeling the heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling the heat too. It says we're not going to let this country be ruined because of other people want to drop. As you say, they're worse. Says Trump, yeah, blah 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 blah, but it's really the main culprit is Big Satan, Babylon, America. Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna just end that right there. I got one precept for that, and this is Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 5, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. So this devil's soul, his gumption or whatever you want to call it, it's not upright. And this devil is always doing some sneaky, deceitful, underhanded sugar honey iced tea. As this article states, he's going over there and looking into striking Venezuela land strikes. Telling it's just if this devil is going to use we'll say arrows. They may not be of the nuclear annihilation sort, but nonetheless, or he might use boots on the ground. But this devil's soul is not upright in him. But when it comes down to the just, the righteous, we're going to live by faith. Verse 5, the point. It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. So, this devil, he transgresses by his wine, by his philosophies, his beliefs, his traditions, his treaties, his statutes, his penal codes, his municipal codes, and so forth and so forth. This is what he transgresseth by. He's always going off or going against something or someone. Transgresseth by his wine, his philosophies. He's a proud man. This devil is very proud. You know how proud you got to be to authorize something in another country that you are not the leader of? This devil is proud, and is what doesn't keep at home. This devil don't mind his business. Why you talking about he's finna look into going into Venezuela with land strikes? That's not keeping it home. It's not minding your business. This devil, he enlarges his desire as hell, as the grave. People die every day, and yet the grave is not satisfied. Well, that's how this devil is. He enlarges his desire as hell. He is not satisfied. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. He tries to control everyone and everybody. Trying to tell everybody what to do and what they can and can't do. And when someone or people be like, yo man, mind your business. You don't run nothing over here. What does he do? He get indignant. How dare you not let me tell you what to do in your own country? How dare you not let me work my wickedness and evil in your space? That's how this devil operates. That's why his soul is not upright in him. But yeah, there's just two articles I seen, and I brought out some scriptures on them. And with that, shalom.